Hello my crafty friends. So you've probably clicked on this video because of the thumbnail and you want to find out what is she talking about? What negative experiences has this person had? Like, I really want to know. And I am going to share some of the negative, really quite bad experiences that I've had. So you're gonna want to stick to the end to find out, because I filmed some footage of the one incident, probably the worst, but possibly the worst incident, just the day that it had happened. So you get to see me while the emotions are all very still live for me, and I'm clearly articulating sort of what has happened and how I feel and just how wrong the whole situation was. If you haven't watched the first part of my this series, I'll link it up here and in the description box below. And that video is giving an overview of what it's like to be on design teams, how to set about getting on design teams, where to look for opportunities, and it's really aimed at, this series is really aimed at people that are newer to design teams or have never been on one and sort of want to join a design team but they've got nowhere to look. And I'm making this because I care about you. All of my crafty followers, my crafty tribe, and people that I have yet to meet, I care about you, and I'm not just saying that, like, it's part of my belief system, kindness, compassion, respect, authenticity. So I do not want other people to have any of the same experiences that I have had. So this is meant to be an honest video where I share my negative experiences, and I'm not saying that this is the case for everyone or that anyone else would even have any of these experiences, but a lot of it is relevant to a lot of people. And also I wanted to touch upon some things which might be considered negatives by some people but might not be by other people, so just other factors to be aware of, really. So if you've watched my first video you'll know that that's what I did there, presenting information and sharing the different aspects of how that might be interpreted. So first of all, being on a design team, so it's different to just crafting. So I'm here, I'm in my happy place, I'm in my craft room, and behind me you'll see that's my work desk. So I work from home part-time, and that's during the week, that's where I work, and there's a selection of my makes. They tend to live on there on my non-working days. I've got my loads of craft supplies around, etc. I spend a lot of time in my craft room. It's my happy place. I love it, and I love being surrounded by inspiration, wonderful craft products from brands that I love and buy their products, etc. And if you're a crafter, which I assume you are, but because you're watching this video, you'll have a similar kind of setup, albeit probably, unless you're a YouTuber or a content creator, not a camera setup on your table. But it'll be your happy place or your little corner of a room or whatever, and you'll just love being there and being able to craft and design your own creations with products designed by amazing designers is amazing. It's like one of my favorite things in life. I'm 39 now and I've got health conditions. I don't really do things like going out in the evening for meals and going to clubs and stuff like that. Gosh, no. Crafting, it's my happy place. When you join a design team, it's not the same as crafting for pleasure. I still find it very pleasurable because I'm crafting. I have been sent craft products, and that can range from, depending which companies you're working with, it could be that if it's a cardstock company, you'll be sent a lot of nice cardstock. If it's a stamping and die cutting company, you'll be sent stamps and dies and whatnot. So you get sent these products for free, and you make a commitment, and you usually sign a contract with the company to they have expectations of you that are set out from the outset, that you will produce X amount of YouTube videos or blog posts or social media posts, etc., on scheduled dates. So you'll be working to a schedule, and for an organised Annie like myself, that is fine, that is grand, that is the way that I like to function. I like to use a diary, and I like to work ahead, particularly because I have health conditions, but also just because if I don't feel like crafting, then I've already got my work done and covered, so I don't have to feel guilty about it. But that's just something to be aware of, is that you are going to have to work to a schedule. So if you are not naturally that kind of a person, then you're going to have to get used to that. That being said, things happen in businesses that the businesses can't control. So products might be delayed in getting to them. There's been obviously conditions such as coronavirus and Brexit, for example, that have impacted on shipping times and things like that. So it might be that you have your month perfectly scheduled and planned out, but then you don't receive the products until a week or two later than you were meant to. So then, you have to reorganise everything, and often at short notice. So it's about being flexible as well. So if you're thinking, oh, it's fine, I've got my schedule, we're going to be grand, it's not always like that. You in my experience, there is an element of having to jiggle things about in your diary, and to find chunks of time at short notice to create things. And this can't be helped. This isn't a negative about companies. It's just the way that the world works. Sometimes things get lost in the post. So there's a couple of things. There's 3 examples that I want to talk about. So the first one I'm going to call odd setups and weirdness. So there was an advert that I applied for, which was for design team members and influencers for a craft brand. And it transpired that they only they're US based, and they weren't accepting international applicants, which is completely fine and understandable. But what they were doing was they were setting up an influencer program. So basically, you were essentially a design team member. So you would get a little badge saying that you were an influencer for that team, and you would produce regular makes for that company and post them on your social media and promote the brand. It said that you would be given a very generous discount, but obviously you had to pay for all your own products and shipping. And I thought, oh well, okay, shipping from the States, depending on what you order, it can be quite pricey, but they're offering a really generous discount, so I'm going to apply anyway. So I got offered a place on that. And what do you think when you hear the term generous discount, and think about the context? So you're essentially pretty much a design team member. Write it down. It was 30%. And I just thought, that's not enough. That's actually quite rude and disrespectful, because of what you're expecting from me, to buy your latest releases. So they also have an affiliate scheme. So lots of established craft companies have affiliate schemes. So you have the potential to earn money from working with that company. But realistically, if you're not on the design team, you're not getting the latest releases, or if you want the latest releases, you have to buy them at full price, because we know that when things aren't new anymore, the price reduces. So you can be buying, I was thinking, okay, I could buy a load of stuff that I could use in different ways, and that would be a really good opportunity. But then when I thought actually the discount is 30%, that was just not worth my time. So I just thought that that was a really odd way to go about it, and especially because they still had the expectation that you would produce regular makes for them. So that's one. Also, just to mention, this is really important. I am not going to be naming or indicating or hinting or anything like that about any brands. I am a very conscientious, considerate, professional person, and I don't think that it is morally right for me to bash any companies. So I will not be doing that, and if you're commenting on my videos, which I would love you to do, please do not do that. Feel free to share your own experiences. I'd love to hear them, but if you name any companies, I will remove those comments because it's just not right, and I don't want to be part of that. Another one, so I was a guest designer for a company. So companies often do this, where they just want someone for a month or a couple of months. And it was a 6-month period with a 1-month trial period. And in my mind, the 1-month trial period was to basically figure out if I like working with the company and the products. If not, I could walk away after a month. If the company liked me and my attitude and ethos and my makes, and if they're as good as quality as they need them to be, they would keep me on, and if not, they would get rid of me. No hard feelings, you know. They sent me a hell of a lot of products, so 6 months worth of products. So from the outset, there was the expectation in my mind that it would be for 6 months because of the volume of products that they provided. But I was treated really quite badly in that role. There was a person in the team who I felt had taken a disliking to me, and this was a person that worked for the company. So oddly, I had minimal interaction with the actual DT coordinator, which might have been due to they were very busy and so they were delegating some aspects, but that was never communicated. So basically what happened is that I was getting treated differently to the other new team members. I was being given different information, I was being given different deadlines. So I was initially told, any questions that you have, obviously you knew, any questions that you have, just post them on the private DT group and someone will get back to you. It's completely fine, we encourage you to do that. And then when I asked a question, it would either get ignored or it would get a short, snippy response from this one particular member of the company. Whereas when another new member of the design team asked the same question, they got a, oh, that happens to me all the time, I'll inbox you, hun, kind of response, rather than actually sharing the explanation of what to do in that situation in the design team group, which would have actually been really helpful to other people as well. So that person was getting favourable treatment. I would post my makes, and this one particular person never liked or commented or gave me any positive feedback, basically ignored me, which is fine. Well, not fine, it didn't feel very nice, but you know. And then it escalated into, I asked a reasonable question on the group. I asked if there was an affiliate scheme, if they had an affiliate scheme, and this person responded immediately saying, sorry, I don't know what that is, can you explain it? I explained it to her, and her response basically implied that I was being greedy. She said, you're given lots of free products and a very generous discount, so you know, like, no, we don't have an affiliate scheme. And I can't remember all the ins and outs, but that's basically what it was. I responded, I'm sorry, I think you've misunderstood. I'm extremely grateful for everything that I've been sent, and I am very aware that it's a very generous discount, and I'm really grateful. It was just a simple question because I know that, you know, lots of companies have affiliate schemes. That person then deleted the Facebook post. In my eyes, that was because they knew that the way that they had responded was wrong, and disrespectful and downright rude. And they then inboxed me and said, the design team feed is for inspiration for the design team members. You can't keep asking questions on there. If you've got questions in the future, just message me directly and I'll answer them. So that was completely counter to what I had been told by the DT coordinator. And I still to this day do not know what this woman who had a problem with me, what her role was. So I had produced lots of samples for of high quality for this company. They were used to promote new products on a shopping channel, and every time the presenter held up one of my cards, they were like, oh my god, this is gorgeous, who's made this? Oh, Terry. Oh, this is gorgeous, Terry. And then it'd be another one, oh my god, oh, this card is gorgeous. Oh, this is another one from Terry. So I was getting really, really good feedback, objectively. This person also gave me a different deadline. So in the private message to me, told me that I had to have the samples in by Tuesday, and told the rest of the team Friday. So he was giving me less time. And then when I replied and said, that's fine, I've made pretty much all of them anyway, I've just got 2 left to make, they then replied, can you post your makes as soon as you've made them, please, to the Facebook group, because we need to see them. Nobody else was doing this, but I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. So I just knew that she didn't like me for whatever reason, and I knew hand on heart that I hadn't done anything wrong. And I don't know what was going on with the DT coordinator, whether they were just so overwhelmed that they didn't know any of this was going on, or whatever, but or probably because a lot of it was behind closed doors because they had insisted on private messaging. Then just before the end of the first month, I emailed by this person and said, hi Terry, unfortunately we're going to have to let you go because we initially only wanted one new design team member, but we've effectively doubled our design team because of the level of quality of applicants. We took on 2 extra people as guest designers, and it's quickly become apparent that we don't have capacity to for the extra people, so we're going to have to let you go. You know, best of luck in all your future endeavours. And I was like, what? Don't have capacity? I don't know what that means. Like, they've sent me like the next 6 months products already. Like, all of my makes have been really good. Why are they getting rid of me? So I emailed the DT coordinator and said, can you please provide some clarity, because I'm really confused. Like, I don't understand what this lack of capacity thing is. And also I shared with her the way that I had been treated by this person, and she said, look, I'm not willing to comment on any of this that you've said about this other person because I wasn't involved in that. And you know, look, most craft companies expect their design team members to exclusively work for them. We're not like that. But if we'd have known that you were applying for any other DT positions, we likely wouldn't have offered you a post, which was completely contradictory. And so I responded, I completely understand that you don't want to make any comment about what I've said about the way that I've been treated by this person. But here I screenshot a lot of the conversations. I said, you know, I've been discouraged from contacting you. I've been told that I'm not allowed to you know, ask questions in the group, etc. Yeah, and yeah, they just came back to me and just said something blah or whatever and didn't address anything, you know, what that I'd said. And then I also found out that the other guest design team member had been taken on as a permanent design team member. So the whole lack of capacity thing was a complete lie. So not only was I treated very badly, I was lied to and just left with a very bitter taste in my mouth. And I still to this day do not know why this woman targeted me and essentially bullied me. And it's like now I'm out of it, and it was a while ago. I can recognise that that's what it was, but I was essentially bullied by a member of this company. So yeah, clicky weirdness and lying was the title of that section. The third section, probably my worst experience, if that one wasn't bad enough. Yeah, I'll let past me tell you about that, and then I'll see you back in a minute. Hello my fellow lovely crafters of the Tinterweb. You get to see my face today for a change, lucky you. No, only kidding. I haven't washed my hair in like days. Quite dandruffy situation going on here. But you know, that's just life being a spoonie. But anyway, so I'm in my happy place. It's evening time. I will not be naming any companies. I will not be shaming. I will not be naming and shaming any companies. But just let it be said that some companies are better to work with than others. So over the last 10 months since I have... Oh, I'm going to be crafting while I'm talking to you because, you know, that's what we do. I'm currently working on this gorgeous Designer's Choice Dreamcatcher die of Tonic Studios. So basically, I had an experience today and it really got my goat. It really, really did. So basically, over the past 10 months or so, since having my YouTube channel, my confidence has really grown. My self-worth has grown, to be honest. Because I struggle with health conditions, as most of you will know, my regulars, and many of you have health conditions yourself, so you'll know from personal experience, it can really knock your self-esteem at times. And just like when you can't do things that you used to be able to do, maybe you can't work full-time anymore. That's what happened to me. You know, well, I mean, I could have, but it would probably have driven me to the point of a nervous breakdown, and I would never see my family or friends again or leave the house. So, you know, basically what I'm trying to say is that my self-esteem took like a serious battering. And when your self-esteem... I'm going to speak purely from personal experience. When my self-esteem was in the toilet, it was a very different experience to now. So now, I have a good work-life balance, but my passion lies with crafting. And, you know, I've gotten... The more you do things, the better you get at it usually, and that's what's happened with me. So, and because my confidence was growing because of being part of communities like Craft World, an online community, and Instagram, and things like that, and I was getting positive feedback on my makes, my confidence started growing, and so I started putting myself out there a bit more, you know. I'm on design teams, so I know that my work is of a good standard. People have told me that, and objectively, when you apply for it to be on a design team, it's like a job interview. They ask you to tell them about yourself and your if you've been on design teams before, and your strengths and things like that, what you enjoy doing, and all that kind of stuff. I won a competition via Craft World, and had for my colouring, because that's one of my strengths, is colouring, and that card was featured in Simply Cards and Papercraft in the July edition. And so it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I know that, like, I'm pretty decent. I'm not the best, I'm not amazing, I'm never, we always continually learning. But I'm decent, I'm not a novice, I'm not a newbie. Might be a novice and a newbie at some things, but card making and papercraft, no. And I can say that quite confidently. And I had an experience where I had applied for a design team post. From what they were saying on their advert, they only wanted 2 posts a month. And I looked around I'd heard of them, and I looked around on their website and stuff, and I really liked their images, their stamps, and would, was like, oh, I'd love to get my pens on them. I'd really like to get my pens on them. And so I applied, and then I hadn't heard from them, and I'm quite impatient. And I was browsing on their website, and like their web chat popped up, and it's quite irritating actually. So like, like when you're on a website and it's like it's constantly popping up, and you like keep minimizing it so you can actually look at the screen. But anyway, it kept popping up, and I said, hi, my name's Terry. I've recently sent through an application for your design team. Can you just check if you've received it for me? It's come from this address. And they were like, yeah, no problem. And then they got back to me straight away and said, oh my God, yes, we've received your we've received your application. You will definitely be hearing from us. Your designs, your makes are stunning. We definitely want you on the team. So it's going to be a few days because there's a few other really amazing applicants as well, and we want to sort of get you on board all at the same time. But yeah, don't worry if you don't hear from us for a few days. But yeah, we definitely want you on the team. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. So I was really excited. So then an official email came through, and it said, oh, we'd like to, okay, so in order not to give away, in order not to name and shame, basically what the email said was very different to what the advert said. And the email was basically saying, we're only gonna let you work with digital stamps. But yeah, so basically, the first email came through, was very contradictory to the advert. The first one was like, you'll be working with a mixture of digital and physical products. So they had said that obviously the DT, it was a guest DT for 6 months, would be working with a mix of digital and physical stamps. And so then they came back and said, so you're going to be doing this and working with digital stamps, but because your work is of such high quality, we're going to put you on the product team as well, so you're going to be working with stamps and dies as well. And I was like, well, I thought everyone was, like, that's what it said in your advert. So basically I replied back to them and said, and then they finished it off by saying, when can you start? They also said, we run a very tight ship. We run a very tight ship, and we need people to be meeting deadlines. We want you to work a month in advance. And I was like, oh, that's fine. I'm a really organised, conscientious person. So I do that anyway. I try as much as possible. It's not always possible because the design teams themselves don't always know a month in advance. Do you know what I mean? So, but like where possible, I do, and I've never missed a deadline in my life. It's like, I'm just one of those people. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so I was just like boggled really. so like I sent this email, but it was late at night because they'd emailed me late at night, and then in the morning I thought, I was like, oh, actually, blah blah blah, and I did a couple of other extra things, and then like about 3 days went by and they hadn't replied, and so like I emailed them again and said, oh, like, is everything okay? I was thinking, if I annoyed them or something by asking for clarity. You know, I think that's the sort of like people pleaser in me. But it's perfectly normal and fine to ask for clarity when when people are being extremely unclear, and like everything, even within its own email, was contradicting itself. So the follow-up email was so patronising, so patronising. It was basically, that was the one that was saying like, you know, oh, we only let professional crafters, you know, loose on the stamps and dies, you know, and you know, we need to make sure that you can work to deadlines, and I was like, I'd already said in my previous email, like I've already worked and currently do work on teams where I make samples and they're used to promote their products, and you know, yeah, so I was just like, we're like majorly like crossing wires. Like, do they think that I'm like a new, like, I've never been on a design team before, when I've sent them all of the design teams that I've been on and pictures of my work and links to all of my social media, and I was just boggled. And my mum was over at the time, and I was like, sorry mum, I'm a bit distracted, I've just got this email, and I read it to her, and she was like, and I was like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And she was like, what's your gut telling you? And I was like, no, I'm not standing for that. I'm a 39-year-old adult woman. I don't need to be told that I need to meet deadlines, and I don't need to be spoken to like, you know, some naughty little child who, you know, we're not letting you play with the scissors because you cut that chunk of hair. Like, what? Like, no. So, and like, also they had said, oh, you must have misunderstood what I said because I didn't say that. So basically I screenshot the advert and I screenshot her email, and also they hadn't even signed it to say who it was from, so I didn't know if I was communicating with the owner of the company or, you know, some disgruntled employee who was going to get seriously butt kicked for sending an email of this tone, because I work in the NHS, and if I sent an email like that, I would be up on a disciplinary. Like, it was just rude, condescending, you know, because I said, like, you know, printing, I don't really use digital. I print digital images on, you know, just using the black outline and colouring alcohol markers, which is fine, but like I haven't got like a brilliant quality printer, and it's like, it is quite expensive to keep buying like coloured ink and stuff, especially, you know what I mean, like, and she was like, actually it's not expensive to refill your ink, and yeah, you are expected to print out all of your own stuff, and you're not allowed to use any other brands. And I was just like, nah, it's not for me. Not for me. So at this point in time, I haven't had a response back from that, but I basically just said at the end of the email, due to the tone of this email, of your last email, I don't think that we would be a good fit for each other. Regards, Terry. Not even kindest regards, like, you know, the British way of saying I'm really not happy. Like, no. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you is what I've learned, the way I reacted today in a professional manner to the way that I had been treated, is I know my own self-worth. I know my level of skill. I know my capabilities. And I'm not going to allow anybody to treat me like that voluntarily. Obviously, I can't control what other people do, but there's no way that I would join that design team if that's the way they were treating me before I was even part of it. So, and I've always gone by the motto, probably because like my mum's instilled it into me, what does your gut tell you? So, you know, I know it's like sort of, I won't say every, because, you know, it's not every, but probably a lot of crafters, like, you know, it's like their dream. I know it was for me. It's like, oh my God, I'd love to be on a design team. I really would, like, you know, just to be there, like getting products, like getting sent like amazing products for free, and then like crafting for free, and, you know, like sending those samples off and inspiring other people. So if you're getting like, this doesn't feel right, like they shouldn't be treating me like this, like what is that what it's like? Like, do they only like, is that what it's like to be on a design team? Like you're told like that, like, you know, you have to, you know, the harder you work, the more you're rewarded. Bore off. Like, no, you're worth more than that. I'm worth more than that. You're worth more than that. Know your own worth. Don't let anyone make you do anything. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Don't, if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. And there are companies out there who, in my experience, take advantage of people, of crafters, because, you know, they want to be on design teams. So, you know, yeah, we can get these people to work for us for nothing. You know, we'll give them like a couple of digital stamps and get them to like spend hours. And do you know how long it takes to colour in and then create a card, for example, to colour in like a decent sized image in alcohol markers to like a good degree, and then turn that into a card? That takes several hours. And if they're wanting you to do like 4, 5, 6 of them a month for like a couple of digital stamps, that's slave labour. You're not getting paid. You're not getting paid. You're getting some digital stamps. But I'm still quite angry about that situation because it's only just happened. But yeah, I just sort of felt like making this video now because it's live, and it's as in the emotions and the message is live in me. So that's when I'm better able to articulate it. And I also just happen to be in my craft room crafting. Don't let people treat you with anything other than the respect that you deserve. Yeah. And if you do, be warned. So forewarned is forearmed. So yeah, so that's what happened. And I did get a response back to that email. I still don't know who it was from. I don't know whether it was from the manager of the company. I think it was, but I think that it's quite bad that they didn't say who they were. And it was basically because I had screenshot and shown that, you know, what they were saying was completely contradictory. They apologised and said, I'm sorry, looking back at my last email, I can see how the tone of that wasn't the best, or words to that effect. But I didn't have access to any of the previous emails because the person that you were communicating with has left the company. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I believe that, to be honest. But, you know, obviously, I can tell from the tone of your email that you were unhappy with my email, and, you know, this is no way to start off a new relationship. So, you know, best of luck with all your future endeavours. So I replied saying, thank you for acknowledging how completely inappropriate and rude and disrespectful that email was. And to be honest, I think that what you're asking of people is slave labour. I think it's really exploitative, and I think you need to consider that. Regards. So yeah, so that has been my negative experiences and just things, you know, to be aware of. But if you haven't watched my first video, please go and watch it, because just to finish, you know, on a high note, I love being on design teams. I love it. And, you know, the vast majority of my experience has been nothing like that. My design team coordinators have been amazing, supportive. My teammates have been so supportive. You know, if you love to craft, if it's your passion, if you have time in your schedule and you would love to work with some of your favourite brands, or some new up and coming brands as well. I like to work with small brands as well, because I think it's a very brave thing to do, to go and set up your own company. That's really gutsy, and there are so many opportunities out there, and if you want to go for it, just go for it. But, you know, if any of this that I've shared today has been helpful, you know, which I really hope it has, you know, just to be aware of things, you know, and like past me said, don't let, you know, people treat you with anything less than the respect and the dignity that you deserve, because that is a basic human thing, that we should treat each other with respect and kindness and compassion. And I sincerely hope that none of you have any experiences similar to the ones that I've shared. So please feel free to leave me any comments or questions or anything that you want to in the comments. You know I love to interact with you in the comments, but please do not, if you're sharing any of your own experiences, please do not name any companies or say, oh, I think you might be talking about so-and-so, or anything like that. I am not doing that. I'm not going to do that. I don't think it's right to bash companies, and anybody that writes any comments that include any company names or heavily indicates who it might be, I'll delete those comments, because I don't want that on my channel, and that's against YouTube's guidelines of being respectful, and it's against my personal morals of being a respectful person. So yeah, so I'll see you soon with some more crafty goodness. Bye for now.